Hey guys, Steve here from dudehack.com, and today we're going to be running through personalizing your opening message and actually go through some live examples. So if you've done any research into online dating, you would have seen all over the internet that people are saying that you need to personalize your opener. But how do you actually go about doing that? And again, it's all well and good for me to sit here and tell you how to do it in theory, but actually seeing it in action is always the best way to learn. So today, first I'm going to run you through just what personalizing exactly is, and then we're going to jump into some live breakdowns of openers that I have sent. Now, the content from this video today has been pulled from my online dating course, Hook Her Heart. You can check out a link to that down in the description below. Now, before we get into that, first I want to talk about today's video sponsor, Could.see. Now, Could.see is an amazing social media network designed to help you find genuine connections and meaningful relationships. If you're tired of the usual dating apps and looking for something real, Could.see is definitely worth checking out. It's a unique platform that connects people from all over the world through authentic conversations and interactions. Whether you're looking for a soulmate or just someone to chat with, Could.see has got you covered. First things first, you need to complete your profile. Now this is super easy. You just click on your profile icon, select my profile info and fill out your details. Make sure that you do take the time to upload a good series of photos showing a bit of variety and a bit of who you are. One of the standout features of Could.see is its advanced search function. You can filter your search based on interest, goals, location, and more to find who you truly resonate with. Once you find someone that is just your type, don't be shy. This is where you send an opener. Compared to other dating apps out there where you do need to match first and foremost, the good news is with Could.see, if you have a really strong opener game, then you can arguably match with more women compared to other traditional dating apps like Tinder. And by the end of this video, you should have some really good opener tips to throw out on Could.see. Plus, the good news is that it's free to sign up today. So if you're ready to meet that special someone and experience genuine human connection, then go give Could.see a try. I've got a link down in the bio below. Alright, so we briefly mentioned before that when it comes to starting out a conversation, one of the most important things that you can do is to personalize. This is a lesson that I've been saying for years and is still relevant today as it was 5 years ago. For the most part, girls are either receiving boring, hey, how are you type openers or pickup lines. Now, while pickup lines are still a little bit better than something boring like saying hi, they are still nothing special at all. The reason being is that in the girl's eyes, you could have copy and pasted that exact opener to every single girl that you're speaking to. And well, people are inherently interested in themselves. So making an opener about them sparks that attention much more than a generic one-size-fits-all opener. And that is why I like to personalize my opener most of the time using something that I call cues. The simple formula is that we find a cue, then formulate our opener based on that cue. But what exactly is a cue? Well, quite simply, it can be anything in their profile. From a song displayed on their profile, to the way that they are holding something in a photo, to something in the background, to the general theme of the photos, the way they stand, to the shirt that their friend is wearing in a group shot. Seriously, what I'm trying to say is a cue can be anything. Soon, I'm going to run you through a couple of ways that you can go about opening a conversation after finding a cue, so you can apply them to your own cues after you've found them. But just keep in mind that perfecting personalizing your openers does come with reps. So that means doing it over and over again. At first, it might seem like a little bit of a chore trying to find these cues, but soon it becomes so second nature that you can pick them out almost immediately. It's really important to spend some time actually looking carefully through every single photo, what they have written in their bio or prompts, and every single other little detail on their profile like interests, Spotify songs, or any other extra information. Now at this point, a lot of the time a question that I get is what happens when you come across a profile that is quite blank and the cues are limited. But look, don't fear. Attached in the notes section of this chapter, you're going to see a bunch of openers that you can copy in those situations that you feel you can't personalize or you're really stumped at coming up with something yourself. But before we get into them, as a best practice, try to personalize every single time. If you can't in one particular conversation, it's not the end of the world. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, welcome. So we're onto the bonuses now. We're going to dive straight into your opener, how you go about doing it in action. You've learned all about it. Now you're going to see me looking at profiles, coming up with cues, what stands out to me, and what opener I then threw out to this profile, and hopefully a good reaction. So it's all well and good for me to tell you all about openers, all the do's and don'ts, and what you do, and how you personalize, but until you see it in action, like I've said before, that's really where the magic happens. So guys, I've got a bunch of openers that I have sent recently here on my phone. We're going through a lot. The first few, we're going to have a really good look at their profiles, see the cue that does stand out to me, and then show the opener based on that. And then we're just going to kind of like rapid fire through quite a few. So we've got like 30 or so here. So keep in mind, guys, a lot of these you're not going to be able to copy and paste, but the purpose of this is to see just what you come up with by seeing something in their profile, which remember is called the cue. Now, you're going to see throughout this, at least to me, something that really stands out is I'm no comedian. I'm definitely like not even all that witty at times. But this just shows the power of personalizing and how you can harness these 6 pillars of conversation to make your opener stand out from the rest of the pack. Because that's what it's all about, standing out. So don't think you have to go take a comedy class or anything like that. We'll get into some of these, and some of you guys might be like, that's not even that funny on some of them. It's about standing out from everybody else. So look, enough blabbering on, let's just get straight into it. All right, so first and foremost, we have Dana. And if we go through her profile here, first you're going to see a lot of the bikini shots. 2 first ones, she's in a bikini. Her bio there is talking about, she likes humor, blah, blah, blah. She's quite tall. So basically what I'm doing right now is just scrolling through and just trying to see if anything really jumps out to me on her profile. Her interest, writing, gym, theater, cafe hopping, wine. So maybe theater, that's like a pretty, not super common. So you could do something about that. Languages, she speaks French and Spanish and English. So the fact that she's trilingual, that could be something that stands out. The world would be better with a bit more tolerance. And here she's got, a leather jacket, smiley photo. She's got some cool clothes on. This photo here, she's doing like a little pout, kind of looking at the camera, trying to look a little bit cute, but at the same time, almost looking a little bit moody, a little bit sad or something. And then her in the snow just holding up her hand. So there's quite a few things you could pick out here. The cue could be, her in the snow, her being like so happy in the snow, putting her hands in the air. It could be the fact that she is wearing all leather in that photo, and you could say something about like Greece or some shit. Or the fact that there's 2 photos of her in a bikini, that's obviously something that is important to her, going to the beach, or, that's something she does regularly. The fact she's a little bit tall, but probably not like point that out. She speaks English, French, and Spanish. I would do something like that. But the thing that stood out to me was this little pouty face, this little kind of sad face or whatever it is that she's trying to do. So I decided to take that and run with it. So my opener, I said to her, Hola Dana, I'm happy that you put that photo up because now I know what your face will look like when you're annoyed with me. And it looks cute. So lucky me. And she says, ha 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 ha. You are funny. How are you? So, I've kind of like a little bit of banter there, pointed out the fact that that photo, you look pretty pouty and sad, but I've still then softened the blow by saying she looks cute. So again, she liked it by saying, ha 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 ha. You are funny. What a good compliment right off the bat. That's what we're aiming for. And again, I haven't been like all that creative. So in my opinion, it's a nice little fun opener to just, stand out from the pack and not be like, hey, how's your day? Cool, moving on. So the next one here, we have Camilla. First photo, looking nice and smiley in the pool, nice and blue. Nothing really standing out in her basic information. She's vegetarian, could go something with that. She likes hiking trips, running, romance novel. So you could do something like that, we can write a little romance novel together, something like that. This photo, she's kind of looking cute, doing a little pose, looking off to the side. You know that there was obviously a bunch of photos taken there to get that one. Have a nice sense of humor, so she values, you know, someone that's a little bit funny. So that tells me maybe I can be a little bit funny with her right off the bat. She's on one of those hiking trips, so she wasn't lying. She wasn't one of those people that, you know, says they love hiking and don't really. Something that stood out to me here, you know, again, more hiking, more just sort of general photos. But this one that really stands out to me is it says, if you could eat only one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? And she says pizza and poke bowls. So I decided to run with that one and kind of like, you know, poke fun at her. It's Bumble, so she started the conversation by saying, "Hola, how's your weekend going?" I just kind of ignored that and I went in with my own opener. And I jumped on the fact that, you know, it says one food that you could have the rest of your life, and she said two. So I've jumped in and I said, "Hey, you're a big cheater. It says if you could only have one food. Unless they made poke bowls with pieces of pizza in it, that sounds like a good idea. Should we start a business?" Really, like, again, not that funny, not that witty, but it's just something different. And I'm pointing out like the flaw, like the thing she did wrong. Hey, it says one and you did two. Banter. I'm just giving her a little bit of shit. Now, you might remember we've briefly spoken about this in the conversation module, and we're going to talk about it a bit more in the next module when you see me doing conversations live. But a nice little fun thing that you can do with women is make up a kind of like fake or fun little future plan, especially if it's a bit ridiculous and clearly a joke. Us starting a business that has pizza and poke, obviously I'm just talking crap, but it's just like a fun little cute future plan. This serves well as a callback. You know, if I was to start the conversation again down the line, I could say something like, "Hey, I finally came up with a name for our business," or something like that. Again, it's totally silly, but fun future plans, guys. And clearly it's gone well because she has responded with lots of laughing emojis and has asked me a question to follow it up. So nice little opener to start off, and she mentioned that she likes humor, so I haven't been boring like everyone else, and I threw a little bit out, albeit not that funny, but it's still something. Next we have Valen, and she said, "Is your last name Hemsworth?" So like huge compliment right off the bat. Like, let's be honest, I'm not exactly, you know, on an uphill battle here. She's giving me a really nice compliment at the front. I personally think it's just because I'm Australian, and overseas a lot of people just, you know, make that connection. And if she wants to say, "Oh, I look like Hemsworth," that's all good. Maybe like a real ginger version or something, but cool, I'll roll with it. Now, instead of just being like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," like, wow, like, no, I'm not really the brother, but haha, like, I've rolled with it. She's thrown out a little joke. She knows, obviously, I'm not related to the Hemsworths. So she just threw something out that's a bit silly. So I was like, cool, I'm going to roll with this. I'm going to run with it 100%. And I'm going to be over the top ridiculous. So what I said is, yes, it is. I'm the long lost fourth brother that they are all ashamed about. They would lock me in their basement because I wasn't as successful as the other three. I couldn't even get a damn part on Westworld. So eventually I escaped to Colombia, and here I am. She then responds, "Ha ha 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 ha. Well, at least you have their glorious genetics at least." So another compliment right off the bat. I really can't complain. That definitely was a good response from her. But you can see there, especially if they are throwing something out, especially, you know, on Bumble, and starting the message with anything, even just slightly ridiculous, jokey, funny, roll with it and even turn it up. Outdo her. Clearly that's what I've done with that ridiculous, over the top, detailed and exaggerated opener. And her responses from then on were really, really, really good. So in the next module, we'll run through this whole conversation, and you'll see that because I feel that this started off on the right foot, we had a really, really good conversation, and it did end up with her agreeing to a date. So we did start things off on the right foot. Now that last one, it's not exactly personalized based on their profile. with apps like Bumble, if they do throw something out to you first, just simply responding to that. It's still personal. It's still not something that could be copy and pasted to everybody. So just keep in mind that you can do that. Don't stress that every single time there needs to be a queue. But if they throw something out like she just did, like, it gives you a lot to work with right off the bat. So next one there, it almost looks like she's like going to a toga party or something, but I guarantee that's just a normal dress. Next, this like, silky nice dress, nice restaurant. So like, I hate to say it, like maybe a little bit high maintenance, a little bit like likes nice dinners, likes to get dressed up, things like that. Her again in that red top and the jean shorts, nice leather kind of skirt. And yeah, so this one here with her with like the seashells in her hair and looking like a little bit of like a mermaid kind of thing, like totally a cue there. You could absolutely run with something like that about the fact that she's wearing that. Her profile doesn't really give too much. She's saying she likes spa. We both like movies, travel, and reading. Like, wow, what a coincidence. I can't believe that. I'm being completely sarcastic there, if you couldn't tell. I think most people like those things. So look, the thing that stood out to me is I was having a look at these photos. There's two of her in these red bikinis. And one thing I noticed that I thought was kind of funny is in this first one, she's really just like dipped the bottom half of her pants into the water. So like the top half, she's dry and she's just dipped the bottom. So I decided to run with it and I said, all right, Daniela, be honest. You just got into the pool with your shorts on like that because you peed your pants, right? And then I had a little gif saying, be honest. Because it totally looks like she's peed her pants. If you look at that photo again, like, it's like, oh shit, I peed my pants. It reminds me of Billy Madison. If you haven't seen that, definitely go see that movie. But yeah, it's like she's just hopped in there and it's like, whoops, oh no, it's just the water. So I decided to poke some banter at that. I thought it'd be a nice little funny opener, and she's responded positively with big laughs again. So next we have Sol, and looking through, like, her photos are pretty standard. She's got 4 photos and no bio. So this is one of those like fairly blank profiles where there's not much to work with. Looking at her first bio, her first photo. So it's really important to like look really detailed, because behind her there's a photo of, I believe, Bowser from, Mario, Nintendo, and then a Corona sign. Not much for her interest. She says vegetarian, creativity, feminism. You could probably go something with that. She speaks Portuguese, so she's obviously from Brazil or Portugal. You could roll with something like that. But the rest of her photos, there's one where she's like looking off to the side, a little bit annoyed or something. You could kind of do something similar to that one I did before about her like pouty face. And then these like kind of cool pants. Those are some cool pants, and they're little like, is it flames on her top? So she's got some like funky fashion. You could definitely pull something out about that, about her looking a little different. But what I rolled with was the very first photo talking about, having Corona behind her. So I rolled with saying, Hola Sol, if that first photo was an advertisement for coronavirus, I would want to be infected with it right away. So look, it's a little bit silly. It's almost like a little bit sensualizing, like I would want to be infected right away. But because it's so silly and ridiculous and over the top, she'll obviously know that. And she knows I'm not being sleazy. And it's like a little bit on topic. I've been traveling, and yes, hopefully Corona is a thing that's, behind us, but like somewhat on topic. And yeah, and so very, very first photo, it's personalized. She responded by saying, that was a good move. How was your weekend? So she liked that. And just a little bonus, I followed up saying, I got the moves, with a little gif of a baby dancing. So just, again, I've started that off in a fun way. I've shown I'm just not like every other boring dickhead. And, she even complimented it, saying, like, I've got the moves. Like, that was a good move. Wow. Next one here, we have Andrea. Speaks English and Spanish. Kindness, humbleness, love, and happiness. That sounds like, something a middle-aged woman would put up on their wall, like live, laugh, love or something. She's got a few little emojis there. Again, pretty standard, like traveling, party, like beaches. Like, wow, that's so unique. So there's like really not much to work with here. She likes festival. She likes cooking. Like, okay, she speaks English and Spanish. Got this one cute photo of her in a hat. She's got a shirt that says something in Spanish, so I don't know what it says. So it's like really important to even like do that. Like read what like a little sign in the background says, what it says on a shirt, what it says on her hat. And speaking of that, on a little hat there, it says no photos, please. That's my cue. I'm going to run with it. So I said to her, every time you wear that hat, I'm going to take a lot of photos of you. So like just pointing the phone, she's like, no photos, please. I'm like, too bad. I'm going to take photos. But then it's also planting the seed of like, we're going to hang out. Like I'm being really assumptive. I'm like, when we do this, I'm going to take lots of photos. So it's kind of like that fun little future plan. And I'm giving a little bit of banter because I'm like, no, I'm not going to do what you say. And then she writes back, ha 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 ha. Then I won't wear it. Winking face. So like, you know, we've totally like, we're totally on the same page there. She laughed, lots of laughs. There's like 10 different ha's there. And then like, you know, a little bit of banter back. Well, then I'm not going to wear it. Like, what are you going to do about it? And then we just got a little bit of back and forth. Not like, hey, like, where are you from? How was your day? We're really, really different from that. We skipped all that bullshit. So she liked that, and you know, a little bit of poking fun at her. All right, so next one here we have Gabriella. So she's looking very nice in this sort of backless dress there. You could roll with something like that. Like, you know, she's looking like she's about to step into like, you know, fetch a rose from The Bachelor or something. Nothing really stands out there. Photography, tennis. Like, I feel like not many women like tennis on dating apps. So, you know, maybe you could roll with something there. If you know this area where she's traveled to and like say you've been there as well, you can, you know, have that kind of likeness with each other, that in common, say something about that, but I don't even know where that is. This photo of her standing amongst all the kind of buildings in this like I guess art piece here. And then, yeah, just on a standard street with like the big angel above her, you could do something with that. But the thing that stood out to me was her standing amongst all these buildings. And this thing that like really came to my mind with that one was that I said she kind of looks like Godzilla. Like she's kind of like, you know, this like, rah, like about to like smash all these buildings. What I said was, hi Gabrielle, you look like Godzilla hanging around those buildings, and a little gif of like a funny kind of Godzilla. And she said, lol, Godzilla, nice one. Like she's laughing. Then had like 2 different questions for me. So again, I haven't like shown my intense interest and asked her a question about her interest. I was like, you look like Godzilla. And she's like, oh my God, wow. And asked me 2 questions back. So you can just be an idiot sometimes and still stand out and make an impression.